Hello, welcome to the first episode of Lunch with Flimsy. Flimsy being short for FlimsyLunchTray, aka being myself. So this is a new series I'm wanting to start. After talking with my moderators in my Discord server, I'm just wanting to start a topic series where there's some continuity, where I just share about my thoughts on World of Warships, mainly in that area. Won't be talking about different games per se, unless that changes at some point in the future. But a series where you just get to have thoughts on my mind with the game, different topics, whether that is related to, it can be related to a lot of different things. So you'll get a feel for it as we go, as we'll kind of discover Lunch with Flimsy as it uncovers, which of course I'm not going to deny that Jingles, Mighty Jingles, is a bit of an inspiration for me in starting this. His Mingles with Jingles, and then myself having Lunch with Flimsy. But hopefully they have some different flavors, as I'm not trying to copy anything that he's necessarily doing. Just a place where I can share some more content, and some things might not also necessarily be related to the gameplay. So, be looking forward to more episodes to come. Probably will have an episode once every week or two. This kind of depends as we start here. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a few things. Namely is going to be how did I get my in-game name of FlimsyLunchTray, and why do I play World of Warships? So it's mostly going to be today's general discussion. FlimsyLunchTray, how did that name come to be? It's been interesting. When I first started playing the game, I wasn't sure what gamer name I should go with, and I chose this gamer name because I already had it for another reason, which I'll get to in just a moment. But it's something that causes laughs, so generally I always get a pretty positive and funny reaction to the gamer name of FlimsyLunchTray. Besides one person who didn't think that it was befitting of the YouTube channel. That's a story for a different time. But FlimsyLunchTray. Okay, how did the name come to be? So, in my college days, I didn't play PC games. I mostly just played the Xbox 360 console games, and I didn't even really play online anyhow. But I did have an Xbox Live account for, I think there's like a free period I got once. And I chose a pretty cliche name for myself, being XX Country Boy XX, because Country Boy was already taken. And just sharing that, I did grow up in the Midwest of the US. And pretty much country boy at heart, so on and so forth. But anyhow, I had this name, XX Country Boy XX. And I was pretty proud of it, even though it's a pretty cliche name, and other people use that iteration of the name, so on and so forth. So anyhow, one evening, I was going to, I don't know if it was a class or perhaps it was going out on a date with Mrs. Flimsy, now whom I am married to. And I had my roommate in the dorm and two other of my best friends. And they asked if they could play Xbox Live using my console. So I said, sure, go for it. I don't know really how it works. I've not really messed with it. You guys know more than I do. So have fun with it. So I left. So a few days later, I get on to play. You know, if you sign into the Xbox 360, like you have that kind of home menu, and it'll show your in-game name, achievements, so on, so forth. Well, my name had changed from XX Country Boy XX to, spoiler alert, FlimsyLunchTray. And to be honest, when I did discover this, I wasn't too happy about it. I thought it was a pretty stupid name at the time. I didn't think it was much ingenuity for the name, so on and so forth. So I didn't like it. I thought it was pretty dumb. And I wanted to change it. I wanted to fix it and see if I can get back to what it was. But you get to change your gamer name once on Xbox, your live account, for free. After that, I think at the time it cost like $10 to change it back. And I said, "Oh, I'm not paying $10. FlimsyLunchTray it is." Especially since I didn't really play on Xbox Live to begin with. So that stuck with me. That's been, like 6-7 years now that's stuck with me, and it's grown on me as time has gone by, and it probably grew the most on me once I started playing World of Warships, which I started playing back in the fall of 2019. So it's quite funny. So I totally embrace the name now and get to make a lot of funny memes off of it. Now, and such, and having this new series called Lunch with Flimsy. It makes sense, right? So yeah, so that's how the name came to be. Another thing to note about myself, as it's kind of sharing some things, so you guys get to know me better as we go on with the series and as the YouTube channel slowly grows, is that yes, I do play on the North American server, but I actually I don't live in the U.S. presently. When I first started playing the game in the fall of 2019, I did live in the U.S., lived in the Midwest in Indiana. But then I was able to take a job in the Scandinavia region, being Norway. So I've been in Norway since the beginning of, January 2020. So 2 months before the pandemic hit. So essentially I've had 2 normal months of living in Norway, and then the pandemic hit. So I'm still trying to figure out what normal life even looks like in Norway, and also learning the language too, which has been quite fun, which is Norwegian, if you're wondering. So why do I play the game? Why do I play World of Warships? Well, as you kind of shared a little bit ago, I didn't really play online multiplayer games. As you heard that, I didn't have I had an Xbox Live account, but didn't really play on it. And I didn't get a PC till the fall of 2019. And there's a few reasons why specifically I play World of Warships. The first reason would also be the mighty Jingles. So I have to credit him for getting me curious and interested in playing World of Warships and watching his player review videos, highlighting players that do really well, or snatching defeat from the jaws of victories, mingles with Jingles, and it seemed something I could really get into. So I stumbled across this channel. I really don't know how, but I did. And I pretty much just stayed with it and stuck with it ever since. And the timing of when I got my current gaming PCs, I got it before I left the US to go to Norway, because gaming components, PCs, laptops are much more expensive in Norway. So I just decided I would buy one in the US and save myself some good hard cash in doing so. Another reason mainly is because I am a history nerd, especially when it comes to war history, particularly naval warfare history. My grandpa actually served in the Navy in World War II. He served in the Atlantic Theater. So he was actually one of the few, I think he was only like 16 at the time. I have to look back and remember. But he actually saw Mussolini being already had been hanged, but he managed to get a picture of it as well when you weren't supposed to. So I need to go back and kind of look at that story and try to remember all the details on that. But it's rather interesting, and he has that picture, which he donated with some other things to a war history museum in Vincennes, Indiana. So if you're in that area, maybe go check out that museum. But I can't tell you whether or not they have his things actually out on display, or if they're in storage in a back room, since the museum kind of cycles through with what they have out on the floor. But I got to hear a lot of stories from my grandpa, and when he served in the Navy as a young lad. And then later on would eventually go and serve in the Korean War too in the Navy. So I got to hear a lot of different war stories from him. And then also growing up watching the History Channel, being able to follow along with the battles, the strategies of maybe something like the Battle of Denmark Strait, Pearl Harbor, Battle of Midway. Just all that was really fascinating to me to understand the strategy of, why did commanders make the decisions that they made, so on and so forth. And I also have visited a few warships. The first one being, I was a pretty young lad. When my family went on vacation, we went to Mobile, Alabama, where we got to see the USS Alabama. So that was the first warship I've ever stepped on, and was quite entranced in something so powerful, so big, that had such a deep and rich history. And so being able to explore the ship, of course they have tanks, planes there on site as well. In addition to, there's I think a submarine there as well. So that also had a kind of a notable impact. But then also in Evansville, Indiana, they have what is the LST-325. And I'm trying to remember this in my head to get this straight. It's landing ship transport. I think that's how it goes. But it has a really unique, rich history, but it would transport tanks and troops, and being able to land them on shore, hence LST-325. And that ship has a phenomenal history, actually, particularly after its time in the war ended. That ship has a really great history behind it with what some veterans did in order to get that ship to where she currently calls home in Evansville, Indiana. As she, after the war, eventually she ended up in the Greek Navy. So I won't say anything about that more because I'm actually hoping to do a history video on that sometime soon to tell you about the history of the LST-325, currently in Evansville, Indiana. So check that ship out if you're in the area as well. So that's really more or less why my growing up between my grandpa, hearing naval war stories, being able to explore these ships, that's why I ended up getting interested more and more so in naval warfare history. And then eventually came across Jingo's channel and thought, hey, I can kind of be a nerd and live it out in World of Warships perhaps, and being able to learn more about the history of the ships that are in the game, even if some are paper ships or never existed. So strategy games really like, so that's one of the reasons why I started playing the game. And a lot has even changed since I started playing World of Warships back in the fall of 2019. For better or worse, up to you to decide on that one, as I don't know if I'll say anything regarding that right now, as that might be a future Lunch with Flimsy episode. But yeah, so I keep coming back to the game. Also particularly I like playing it because of the clan that I'm in, being ADF, which again, although they'll hook out there that we are recruiting. So if you're looking to join a clan, feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me a message in Discord saying that you're interested in joining. We're basically just looking for players who are active in playing World of Warships. And when I say active, maybe referencing roughly 1,000 battles at least a year. And just an average player. I mean, you can have 49% win rate, 50% win rate. Naturally, the higher the better. And you're also not required to play or participate in clan battles, being part of the clan. So I have a good group of guys. So that's also what's really helped my playing within World of Warships is just having a clan, a group of guys, and a lady to play with, chat with, have a community with. And that really helps because I think it'd be a lot really difficult to play this game if you weren't in a clan. If you were just soloing it, you probably wouldn't have maybe as much of a positive experience unless you have teammates in different clans that you division up with from time to time. As it's a nice breather at the end of the day, just divisioning up with your buddies and having good laughs and chats, whether you're playing co-op, randoms, or operations, or even getting more competitive, such as ranked or clan battles as well. So if you enjoyed this first episode of Lunch with Flimsy, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments what you think. Looking forward to continue creating some more newer content with this Lunch with Flimsy video series, and hopefully can kind of smooth some things out as we continue to go forward. Subscribe if you want to see more of this, and if you haven't subscribed, thanks so much, as I really appreciate it. And until next time, take care.